Well, it's one of the biggest weekends of the year in college football season, and while most people's teams aren't playing, the Indiana Hoosiers are. I'm Jacob Goins of Locked On Hoosiers. He is Spencer McLaughlin of Locked On College Football, and man, championship weekend is here, Spencer. And can you believe it? It's the Indiana Hoosiers and the Ohio State Buckeyes. It's number 2 versus number 1 in downtown Indianapolis, man. Does it get any better than this, especially since those mighty Oregon Ducks aren't here?
Yes, actually, it does get much better than this. I'm not even going to take the Oregon angle. I'm going to take the neutral arbiter of all things college football angle. Okay. Jacob, has there ever been a conference championship game with lower stakes than this?
Yeah.
I'm legitimately asking.
You can't say that though. Don't poo-poo on the Big Ten championship game now, Spencer. It's a big deal.
Watch me, Jacob.
Deal. Whew, you better be ready. I made some people mad the other day.
Here's an honest look at it. Because of the opponent, it is arguably the biggest game in Indiana football history.
Yes.
Win or lose, it is going to immediately become the second biggest game in Indiana history because the biggest game will be the college football playoff game. When they will have an actual chance to win regardless of who they're playing. Now, again, even if they beat Ohio State, it's not, I don't even think as much about winning the Big Ten championship in the statement that makes as it is they beat Ohio State in Curt Cignetti's second year.
Yeah.
This is the SEC equivalent of my guy Will Stein goes to Kentucky, and next year Kentucky is ranked in the top 5 of college football and is beating Georgia in the SEC title game. That's the equivalent. That's what it is. Like, we've gotten so used to Indiana being good because Curt Cignetti has normalized it so quickly. We have just completely forgotten that 2 years ago, no one cared about Indiana football. It never came up on my show. I never paid any attention to them. No one gave a rat's rear end about them because they were an irrelevant program. And now they're just the opposite of that. This is one of the most rapid ascensions and brand transformations in the history of college football.
And it needs to be celebrated as such. And with the Big Ten title game, we're going to talk about some college football playoff stuff with the final rankings coming out on Sunday. We'll see what those look like, barring the result of this game. But I'm glad you took that angle, Spencer, because do you expect Indiana from the outside in your college football perspective, right? Do you expect Indiana to play that way, to be fired up, to give it everything they've got, 150% to win this game in comparison to Ohio State, who's been here X a number of times where it doesn't really matter as much to the Buckeyes? Do you expect it to be that, or two of the best teams in college football are just going to go at it for 4
I think two of the best teams in college football are going at it. You know, Ohio State looks so mission-oriented and locked in.
Sure.
I think Ohio State could win any type of football game against any team in any weather conditions, any time of day. Ryan Day, as crazy as this sounds, would be on a short list for me for National Coaches of the Year. So would Curt Cignetti, just to be clear. But Ryan Day returned less than half of his roster from a year ago. Brand new quarterback. Ask Steve Sarkisian how easy it is to just work in a 5-star quarterback that's been sitting in your system for a year or two.
Let me speak for the Indiana fans and say it must be difficult to win with a 5-star here and a 5-star there and a backup 5-star, and the 4th string is a 4.5-star who had to walk on because there weren't enough scholarships. I understand exactly where you're going, though.
Yeah, I mean, he's done an incredible job. He had to replace 2 coordinators and over half of his production from last year, and his team looks better? What about that makes any sense other than the fact that Ryan Day, who a year ago at this time, a lot of folks in Columbus wanted fired.
And I think he would have been if they lose that Tennessee game.
Or if the playoff doesn't get expanded, Ryan Day is not Ohio State's head coach.
Which is such a wild fact. And now he's coming off a win against Michigan in the snow on the road, and here they are.
And he's the highest paid coach in college football, I'm pretty sure. And he should be.
Is he still the highest paid after the Lane Kiffin contract?
That's a good question.
Kiffin's got what, like 12 million at LSU? Is that right?
Yeah,
12
I mean,
million a
those
year,
guys are
something
both
like
up
that?
there, but Ryan Day is the best head coach in college football right now. I think a lot of folks would say Kirby Smart. It's not a bad answer.
Yeah.
It's not a bad answer. I watch Ohio State all season. I've watched Georgia all season. I know which team I think is better. And Georgia, I think Georgia's good. They've made some real progress. Ohio State has got no holes, no weaknesses, nothing. They're just really, really good. So from a big picture standpoint, if Indiana loses, they're still going to have a bye. I don't think anything changes that. I really don't. Because if you lose to Ohio State, what, are we punishing you in a big way for that? By the way, even if they were to drop 3 spots down to number 5, oh no, a home playoff game in Bloomington.
But it's an extra playoff game. It's an extra game.
It is.
That's
it
not
is
necessary.
against a group of 5 team who Indiana might beat 70-4.
You're right.
I don't know how they'd get 2 safeties. That was a dumb number to pick. I should have just said 3.
I mean, same. It's a G5 team, man. They play weird,
Yeah, but no, I think that this is certainly a great opportunity for Indiana. But of all the conference championship games, the lowest stakes. Because
the 2 top teams in the country.
Yeah, I know. And that's what the expanded playoff does for it. Now, if it were a 4 team, it would also have the same stakes, to be fair. Because if you had a 4-team playoff, Indiana or Ohio State, neither one should be left out at 12-1. Absolutely not. So, and certainly in a 12-team. But anyway, the opportunity for Indiana is, I think, to prove to themselves and the rest of college football what Curt Cignetti talked about recently, which was, hey, Ohio State recruits really well. Man, they have a lot of really good players, and we're not there yet. We're getting there, but we're not there yet. Boy, you make a heck of a statement if you just beat Ohio State. If Indiana wins this game, but does not win the national championship, which I think is possible, which is crazy, but it's very possible. If that's how it goes, I think that would put their program in a better position than if they lose this game, but let's say make it to the national championship game and lose. Obviously, winning the Natty is the premier goal for everyone. Nothing benefits your program like that. But of all the outcomes, does the point I'm making, is that coming across like?
Yes. Is it because it's winning a Big Ten title, winning a ring, hanging a banner, or is it beating Ohio State?
It's beating Ohio State. If you were playing Penn State or even Oregon in this spot, the Oregon game, you and I talked about it, that's probably the biggest win to date in the history of Indiana football.
On the road in Eugene, absolutely.
Yeah, that's no small thing. Game day in town in Eugene, man, that was an incredibly strong performance. And I think that if they win this Ohio State game and then they can say they're Big Ten champions, I think that's kind of icing on the cake because it's just the brand of you're playing Ohio State. You're in year 2 at Indiana. Man, no one, not even the most red-hearted, bleeding, soul on the chest Indiana fan could have possibly thought when Curt Cignetti got hired, dude's going to take us to the playoff 2 years in a row. You would have been laughed at, and yet you would have been right.